Good day, grade 9s, and welcome to our Lord of the Flies video series. Today we are going to be looking at a summary and analysis of chapters 1 and 2, as well as looking at the author and the context of this novel. About the author. William Golding was studying towards a science degree, but he always had an interest in reading and writing, and at Oxford University he shifted from the sciences to literature. Golding fought in World War II and was involved in the D-Day landings at Normandy. His experience in the war greatly influenced his views of human nature. After the war, he began writing novels in addition to teaching. Lord of the Flies was Golding's first novel, published in 1954, and was a critically acclaimed bestseller in both England and the United States. Though Golding never again achieved the same commercial success, he continued to write and went on to publish many more novels. He won the Nobel Prize for Literature in 1983, and he died 10 years later in 1993. These are graphics or images taken from the D-Day landings in Normandy, which were a part of World War II that happened on the 6th of June 1944. Now, as you can see, we have a picture here on the top right of William Golding in his British Royal Navy uniform. As we know, he was in the Navy during World War II, during the Normandy landings. And just to refresh your memory, I'm just going to read to you a little excerpt from Wikipedia about the Normandy landings. The Normandy landings were the landing operations and associated airborne operations on Tuesday, 6 June 1944 of the Allied invasion of Normandy in Operation Overlord during World War II. Codenamed Operation Neptune and often referred to as D-Day, it was the largest seaborne invasion in history. The operation began the liberation of German-occupied France and later Western Europe, and laid the foundations of the Allied victory on the Western Front. Symbols in Lord of the Flies. So these are things to keep in mind. Okay, so we have Piggy's glasses, and you'll soon come to understand these symbols and who they are associated with. But Piggy's glasses represent reason and man's ability to use technology, and in the novel they are used to start a fire. There's the conch shell, which represents order, and it's used to bring the group of boys together. Uncontrolled fire represents the evil that consumes the boys. The pig's head, also known as the Lord of the Flies, embodies the evil inside every human being. And the war paint, adopted by Jack and his followers, represents embracing violence and disorder. The themes, which relate to the symbols, are civilization versus savagery, the loss of innocence, and the nature of evil. All of these which we will cover in depth as we go along. Chapter 1 Summary. An English schoolboy of about 12 years old explores a jungle. A second boy soon joins him, and the first boy is tall, handsome, and athletic. The second is fat and wears glasses. The boys discuss what happened and how they got to the jungle. They're fairly sure the plane they were in was shot down and crash-landed on an island, and that all of the adults on the plane died. They wonder if any of the other schoolboys on the flight survived. The fat boy asks the tall boy his name. The tall boy answers Ralph, but instead of asking the fat boy's name, Ralph wanders off. The fat boy follows, but can barely keep up because of his asthma. When the fat boy starts eating some fruit, Ralph slips away and finds a beautiful beach. Eventually, the fat boy finds Ralph, who says they should call a meeting and make a list of everyone who survived. He lets slip that in school people call him Piggy. Ralph laughs. Piggy begs Ralph not to tell anyone. Alright, that is the first part of the chapter 1 summary, and you will see there are speech bubbles on the right-hand side of the summary screens. The speech bubbles provide you with an analysis of that summary. So please read them both. The boys keep exploring. Ralph finds a swimming hole and says his father, who's a sailor, will come rescue them. Piggy is fairly certain that no one knows where they landed and says that they have to do something. Just then, Ralph spots a huge conch shell. Piggy realizes they can use it as a trumpet. Piggy can't blow it himself because of his asthma, but he shows Ralph how to do it. Ralph blows and a huge blast sounds. All the boys gather on the beach. They range in age from 6 to 12 years old. There's a set of twins called Sam and Eric. A group of older boys are members of the choir and they are dressed in black. Their leader, Jack, tries to take control of the meeting. One of the boys in the choir, his name is Simon, he faints at this first meeting, and Jack tells Piggy to shut up and calls him Fatty. Ralph gleefully reveals that Piggy's name is Piggy. Everyone laughs, humiliating Piggy. The boys decide to vote for a leader. Everyone in the choir votes for Jack, but all the other boys vote for Ralph because he blew the conch. To keep Jack happy, Ralph says that the choir will be hunters and Jack will lead them. So Ralph gives Jack some kind of leadership role in order to keep him happy. And that is again looking at the theme of civilization versus savagery. Because as you will come to see, Ralph symbolizes civilization and Jack symbolizes savagery. Here is a graphic from Course Hero of Ralph blowing the conch shell to call a meeting. Ralph decides the boys must explore their island. He and Jack will both go, of course. Ralph ignores Piggy's pleas to be included and picks Simon to be a third explorer. Ralph, Jack and Simon have a great time exploring and stop to push a huge boulder off a cliff, which seems like a great accomplishment. The boys climb to the highest peak on the island, which they call the mountain, from where they can see that they're on an uninhabited island. They also see the scar where the crashing plane tore through the jungle. Ralph exclaims, "This belongs to us." Soon the boys head back down the mountain to the beach. On the way, they spot a wild pig caught in vines. Jack pulls out his pocket knife but pauses before striking, and the pig escapes. Jack vows not to hesitate next time. I just want to bring your attention to the fact that in the first paragraph we have Ralph, Jack, and Simon going exploring. And as you will see, Ralph, we know, represents civilization, Jack represents savagery, and Simon represents spirituality or religion. All right? Because in the old days, fainting was associated with people who were very spiritual or religious. Chapter 2. Back at the beach, Ralph blows the conch again to call another meeting. Ralph announces that they're on an uninhabited island. Jack interrupts to say that they still need an army in order to hunt pigs. Okay, so here you can see Jack is interrupting because he feels the need to be in control and show that he is also important. Ralph says that without adults, they will have to take care of themselves. He makes a rule that whoever holds the conch at meetings gets to speak. Jack, excited, shouts out that they can make more rules and punish whoever breaks them. The only reason Jack likes the law is because he likes to punish. Piggy takes the conch and says no one knows they're on the island. Ralph agrees, but describes the island as a good place where they'll have fun, even if they have to stay for a long time. So only Piggy, out of all of the boys, can see the bigger picture. Ralph and the other boys focus on the short term, which is mainly centered around pleasure and fun. A nervous little boy with a birthmark that covers half his face steps forward. After some prodding, the boy whispers to Piggy, and Piggy tells everyone what the boy said. He saw a beastie, a snake thing, the previous night in the woods. Ralph and the older boys dismiss this beastie as a nightmare, Just the younger boys seem scared. Jack grabs the conch and says there's no snake thing. If there is, he adds, his hunters will find it and kill it. Ralph also says there's no snake thing. Ralph says he's confident the boys will be rescued. He suggests they build a fire on the mountaintop to alert rescuers to their presence. Excited by the idea of building a fire, the boys jump up and run off to collect wood and bring it to the mountaintop. Piggy, left alone at the meeting place, disgustedly says that the other boys are acting like a bunch of kids. Alright, so what we can see here is that Piggy is again pointing out the short-sighted nature of the other children. Okay, and then this beastie or snake thing is the first appearance we see of it in the novel, okay? And it's important to note this. Now, Jack, the symbol of savagery, says the beast doesn't exist, but also that his hunters will kill it. He uses the beast to make himself more powerful. Ralph, who is the symbol of civilization, just denies the fact that the beast exists entirely. The boys make a pile of dead wood on the mountain. They can't figure out how to start the fire until Jack aggressively grabs Piggy's glasses off his face. Ralph uses the glasses to focus the sun's rays on the wood, but Piggy is terrified. He is nearly blind without his glasses. The fire burns out because the wood is so dry. Piggy starts to criticize the boys, but Jack shouts him down. Simon points out that Piggy's glasses made the fire possible. Ralph says they have to keep the fire burning every day without fail. Jack volunteers himself and his hunters to do the job. Piggy notices that sparks from their signal fire have set the trees below them on fire. He argues that instead of running off to start a fire, they should have first made shelters. The other boys shout at him again, but are disturbed. Piggy asked where the boy with the birthmark who saw the beastie is. Nobody knows. Alright, so again here, Piggy's glasses as a symbol to symbolize technology and mankind's ability to harness nature to build tools, okay? Here the boys are using a symbol of civilization to help them return to civilization, okay? So Piggy's glasses link them to civilization. Alright. Now, Jack volunteers to keep the fire burning, which seems like a bad fit because Jack represents savagery and fire, controlled fire like this, represents civilization. So, although the boys know Piggy is right because it says that they are disturbed, they still gang up on him. The boy who saw the beastie was actually killed symbolically by the beast. Now, that is the boy's savage desire to have fun. And here we can see a graphic again from Course Hero of Piggy explaining that he thinks shelters were more important and they should have built them first. Thank you very much, Grade 9. Please join us next week for our summary and analysis of chapters 3 and 4 of Lord of the Flies. Until then, have a wonderful week. Bye-bye.